Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Rhonda, the founder of CSTGIA, bringing you Cyber Resiliency 2025, week 34, where we're talking about quantum safe now, preparing for the post-quantum era. Welcome back, because this week we turn to harvest now, decrypt later, risk into action, quantum computers that can break today's public key crypto aren't in production on a wide basis yet, but the data you encrypt today could be stored and decrypted later by many of our hackers and attackers. Standards and government timelines are now public, so our mission is clear. Inventory our encrypted data stores, prioritize long-lived secrets, and migrate with crypto agility. What changed and why does it matter now? So some of our biggest drivers are that NIST finalized some key standards, post-quantum cryptography standards, FIPS 203, 204, and 205 that look at module lattice-based digital signature algorithm, module lattice-based key and encapsulation mechanism, and stateless hash-based digital signature algorithms. Also, because they are effective from 2024, these are going to be your key building blocks going forward. Government timelines have also been made public. NSA's CNSA 2.0, Commercial National Security Algorithm Suite 2.0, sets expectations for browsers and servers and cloud. That maps from 2025 to 2033. For operating systems, it maps from 2027 to 2033. And for software and firmware signing through 2030. The UK's NCSC, National Cyber Security Center, has published a migration roadmap targeting completion by 2035 with phased milestones. So harvest now, decrypt later adversaries are focused on stockpiling encrypted data for future decryption. They are prioritizing anything with a long confidentiality life, PII, health, intellectual property, contracts, national security, etc. So our timeline bar is this: 2024 standards open up our CNSA 2.0 transition windows that run from 2025 to 2023, which culminates into an NCSC completion target of 2035. So we need to look at how to approach this. So our first area is going to be looking at risk, and that's going to be harvest now, decrypt later threatens our long-lived secrets. Our standards, 2003, 2004, 2005, allow us to plan how we're going to deal with this risk through taking an inventory and through our transport layer security and public key infrastructure pilots, which then allow us to scale these technologies. We need to then focus on what we're going to ask for. What are our budgets going to be for hardware security modules, and key management systems refreshes for public key infrastructure modernization and other vendor upgrades that we need to take into consideration. So again, we're going to have 4 quadrants that we need to take into consideration as we're helping executives, middle management, and commercial vendors and or contractors move forward through this. Risks, standards, our plan, and our aligned budget. So what are 7 moves that should be in our leadership playbook? Well, first is to create a crypto inventory. And that is ultimately a software bill of materials, or SBOM, for crypto. First, we have to understand where our crypto lives. So again, TLS, IPsec, and our secure shell areas, libraries, key management systems, hardware security module. In our PKI infrastructures, our certificate authorities and profiles. In our code signing areas, and our data at rest, in our devices, in our Internet of Things, and in our third-party services. We also need to tag algorithms, key sizes, and sensitivities, secrecy lifetimes, and our upgrade paths. CISA really focuses on the emphasis of automated discovery and inventory of cryptographic assets. Next, we need to prioritize our long-lived secrets. Anything needing confidentiality equal to or greater than 7 to 10 years, or verifiable signatures that are long, must go first. Assume harvest now, decrypt later will be quite the issue that we need to be handling going forward. And it already has begun to unfold in many areas in the world. Bake in our crypto agility. So we require the ability to swap algorithms and parameters without a complete infrastructure redesign. So we need to make agility a policy and an architecture requirement, and add these to our system development lifecycle gates and request for proposals, because ultimately our CISA and our NCSC authorities or guidance stress migration complexity focused on agility ultimately creates heightened resiliency and reduces our long-term risk. Plan for protocol upgrades. Keep transport layer security 1.3 everywhere. Pilot post-quantum KEM groups as stacks standardized. Stand up test shadow certificate authorities issuing MLDSA and SLHDSA. Validate cert size and chains using online certificate status protocol. Enable post-quantum code signing in our continuous integration and continuous deployment or continuous delivery infrastructures and our over-the-air workflows. Align these rollouts to our FIPS 203, 204, and 205 standards. Use hybrid during transition. Combine classical and post-quantum technologies. Example, X25519 plus ML migrate-KEM to ease interoperability and assurances, then sunset our classical cryptography per policy, again, recognized in our CNSA 2.0 transition guidance. We need to ensure our hardware security module and our key management system technologies, load balancer, VPNs, mail gateways, and agents all support FIPS 203, 204, and 205. And then we need to ensure that we add post-quantum cryptography readiness and milestones to our contracts. Lastly, in our governance and comms area, we need to form a post-quantum cryptography migration board, security architecture, infrastructure, PKI, legal, and procurement. We need to track the risks, the dependencies, and our external interfaces. We need a checklist of 7 moves with all of these owners. So how can we put this into action? Well, a lot of people are using 30, 60, and 90-day sprint plans. Days 0 to 30, discover and design, stand it up for inventory, tag long-lived life cycles and flows and your critical services. Pick 2 pilots, TLS at the edge, maybe an API gateway, or your PKI and code signing algorithms. Draft crypto agility and hybrid policies. Update your supplier questionnaires with post-quantum cryptography readiness. Days 31 through 60, pilot improve. Pilot your ML-KEM handshakes in a canary in the coal mine way. Measure handshake size, latency, failures. Issue test ML-DSA/SLH-DSA from a shadow certificate authority perspective. Validate parsing across devices, log behavior and revocations. Create the harvest now, decrypt later risk register for long-lived data flows with assigned owners. And in days 61 through 90, scale and contract. Expand to 1 customer-facing service and 1 internal control plane. Update RFP and contract language for vendor PQC support for FIPS 203, 204, 205, and make them date-bound. Create a technology roadmap going forward and heighten the conversation of disclosure of classical dependency. Report your progress against CNSA 2.0 or NCSC milestones along with your budget ask. Create 3 swim lanes with milestones and owners. Next, we need to focus on metrics, risks, and comms. So what are the metrics that matter? Well, 1, coverage, the percentage of systems with crypto inventories complete and or incomplete. Priority progress, the percentage of long-lived flows on PQ or hybrid transitions. Protocol posture, percentage of TLS 1.3 or percentage of endpoints negotiating post-quantum KEM as available. PKI readiness, PQC test and certificate authority live, the percentage of services validating post-quantum signatures, our vendor readiness, the percentage of critical vendors with contracted PQC dates. So our inventory must support our tracking. Top risk and mitigation. So what are our interoperability latency regressions? Do we have phased canaries and the performance of our service level objectives? Then we need to look at our certification sizes, chain limits, and legacy devices. So we need to do a device inventory. We need to understand our firmware update path, and then we need to examine our stage replacements. Lastly, we need to look at shadow crypto in our apps and libraries. What are our software composition analysis and our SBOM scans? What are our secure coding standards? What are our library pinnings? So we need to understand from a CISA standpoint, post-quantum cryptography resources, which help us highlight discovery and supply chain angles to reduce and mitigate the greatest risk. Then we need to put together a comms package for executive leadership team and our customers. The fact that you're aligning to NIST FIPS 203, 204, 205, and the CMSA 2.0 timelines. The fact that you've launched inventory and pilots and will phase in a rollout for a hybrid for continuity purposes. And the fact that you'll publish a quarterly PQC readiness dashboard. So you can help now by creating a KPI dashboard mockup. So what's our sector note and our operational technology angle? Well, our operational technology, or AI, industrial control systems considerations, look at our inventory crypto using gateways, programmable logic controllers, PLCs, human machine interfaces, HMIs, and our virtual private network, VPNs, because many of these devices have parsing and size constraints. So the plan for firmware updates and phased replacements are key to making this feasible and actionable. We need to prioritize segmentation, multi-factor authentication hardening, and implement vendor coordination while our PQC features arrive. We need to take a market pulse because major platforms are publishing quantum safe roadmaps. What are they doing and when? We need to expect customer security questions and create questionnaires and answering to ask for PQC plans and to pilot evidence. And lastly, we need to ensure that we create some kind of visual to help overcome IT versus OT migration pitfalls. Next, we need to really talk about our interactive wrap-up and our 7-day challenge. Which systems handle data that must stay confidential for 7 or to 10 plus years? Tag it as priority 1. Where can we turn on a TLS pilot safely? Pick one edge service. Which build pipeline can we enable for PQ code signing first? Name it, document it, and action it. Who owns the vendor PQC question set? Assign that today. So finish the crypto inventory with one critical service. Launch the TLS MLKEM Canary and staging for measuring stack readiness. Stand up a test certificate authority for measuring ML-DSA, SLH-DSA, and validate it on one service. Post your progress with hashtag CyberResilience2025. So quantum safe is not a moon ship. It's a migration discipline. Start with visibility. Move your long-lived secrets first. Build crypto agility into everything and scale via pilots. The standards are here and the timelines are public. Let's make your roadmap public too. So again, Our standard NIST FIPS 203, 204, 205 were effective as of August 14th, 2025. Our US timelines are NSA, CNSA 2.0. Guidance includes software firmware signing, browser servers cloud, operating systems, plus overall completion starting in 2024 through 2025 through 2035. In our UK timelines, NCSC roadmaps urge planning now with a phased milestone and completion target around 2035. And our CISA resources look at our PQC initiative hub, migration and inventory strategy, which include automated discovery and inventory tools. So we invite you, again, to think long and hard about your quantum safe now roadmap, preparing for the post-quantum era today. This wraps up week 34 of Cyber Resilience 2025. Again, I'm Dr. Rhonda Farrell, the founder of CSTGIA, hoping this brings you a great opportunity for harvest now, decrypt later, turning risk into action.